Hello everyone, for today, we are going to tackle about Title 7 Stocks and Stockholder. First, Section 60, Subscription Contract. Any contract for the acquisition of an issued stock in an existing corporation or a corporation still to be formed shall be deemed a subscription within the meaning of this title, notwithstanding the fact that the parties refer to it as purchase for some other contract. Section 61. Pre-incorporation subscription. A subscription for shares of stocks of a corporation still to be formed shall be irrevocable for a period of at least 6 months from the date of subscription unless all the other subscribers consent to the revocation or unless the incorporation of said corporation fails to materialize within the said period or within the longer period as may stipulated in the contract of subscription. Section 62. Considering for stocks. Stocks shall not be issued for consideration less than the par or issued price thereof. Consideration for the issuance of stock may be any or combination of any two or more of the following. First, actual cash paid to the corporation. Second, property, tangible or intangible, actually received by the corporation and necessary for convenient for its use and lawful purposes of the fair evaluation, equal to the par or issued value for the stock issued. Third, labor performance for or services actually rendered to the corporation. Fourth, previously incurred indebtedness of the corporation. Fifth, amounts transferred from unrestricted retained earnings to stated capital. And sixth, outstanding shares exchanged for stocks in the event of reclassification or conversion. Section 63. Certificate of stock and transfer of shares. The capital stock of stock corporation shall be divided into shares for which certificate signed by the president or vice president, countersigned by the secretary or assistant secretary, and sealed with the seal of the corporation shall be issued in accordance with by the laws. Shares of stock so issued are personal property and may be transferred by the delivery of the certificate or certificate endorsed by the owner or his attorney in fact or other person legally authorized to make the transfer. No shares of stock against which the corporation holds any unpaid shall be transferred in the books of the corporation. Section 64. Issuance of stock certificates. No certificate of stock shall be issued to a subscriber until the full amount of his subscription, together with interest and expenses, in case of delinquent shares, if any is due, has been paid. Section 65. Liability of directors for watered stocks. Any director or officer of a corporation consenting to the issuance of stocks for a consideration less than its par or issued value or for a consideration in any form other than cash, valued in excess of its fair value, or who having acknowledged thereof, does not forthwith expresses objection in writing and file the same with the corporate secretary, shall be solidarily liable with the stockholder concerned to the corporation and its creditors for the difference between the fair value received at the time of issuance of the stock and the par or issued value of the same. Section 66. Interest of unpaid subscriptions. Subscribers for stock shall pay to the corporation interest on all unpaid subscriptions from the date of subscription if so required by and at the rate of interest fixed in the bylaws. If no rate of interest is fixed in the bylaws, such rate shall be deemed to the legal rate. Section 67. Payment of balance of subscriptions. Subject to the provisions of the contract of subscription, the board of the directors of any stock corporation may be at any time declared due to the payable to the corporation unpaid subscriptions to the capital stock and may collect the same of such percentage thereof in either case with accrued interest, if any, as it is deemed necessary. Section 68. Delinquently sale. The Board of Directors may, by resolution, order the sale of delinquent stock and shall specifically state the amount due on each subscription plus all accrued interest, and the date, time, and place of the sale, which shall not be less than 30 days nor more than 60 days from the date the stocks become delinquent. Section 69. When sale may be questioned, no action to recover delinquent stock sold can be sustained upon the ground or irregularity or defect in the notice or sale, or in the sale itself of the delinquent stock, unless the party seeking to maintain such action first pays or tenders to the party holding the stock the sum for which the same was sold, with the interest from the date of sale at the legal rate, and no such action shall be maintained unless it is commenced by the filing of a complaint within 6 months from the date of sale. Section 70. Court action to recover unpaid subscription. Nothing in this code shall prevent the corporation from collecting by action in the court of proper jurisdiction the amount due on any unpaid subscription with accrued interest, cost, and expenses. Section 71. Effect of delinquency. No delinquent stock shall be voted for be entitled to vote or to representation at any stockholders meeting, nor shall the holder thereof be entitled to any of the rights of a stockholder except the right to dividends in accordance with the provisions of this code, until and unless he pays the amount due to his subscription with accrued interest, and the cost of the expenses of advertisement, if any. Section 72. Rights of unpaid shares. Holders of subscribed shares not fully paid which are not delinquent shall have the rights of the stockholder. Section 73. Loss of destroyed certificates. The following procedures shall be followed for the issuance by the corporation of any certificate of stocks in lieu of those which have been lost, stolen, or destroyed. First, the registered owner of a certificate of stock in a corporation of his legal representative shall file with the corporation an affidavit in triplicate setting forth, if possible, the circumstances as to how the certificate was lost, stolen, or destroyed, the number of shares represented by such certificate, the serial number of the certificate, and the name of the corporation which issued the same. He shall also submit such other information and evidence which he may deem necessary. Second, after verifying the affidavit and the other information and evidence with the books of the corporation, said corporation shall publish a notice in a newspaper or general circulation publishing in the place where the corporation has its principal office, once a week for 3 consecutive weeks at the expense of the registered owner of the certificate of stock which has been lost, stolen, or destroyed, except in case of fraud, bad faith, and negligence on the part of the corporation and its officers. No action may be brought against any corporation which shall have issued certificate of stock in lieu of those lost, stolen, or destroyed pursuant to the procedure above described. RA 21A. Title 8. Corporate Books and Records. Section 74. Books to be kept, stocks transferred agent. Every corporation shall keep and carefully preserve at its principal office a record of all business transactions and minutes of all meetings of stockholders or members, or of the board of directors or trustees, in which shall be set forth in details the time and place of holding the meeting, how authorized, the notice given, whether the meeting was regular or special, if special its object, those present and absent, and every act done or ordered done at the meeting. Section 75. Right to financial statements. Within 10 days from receipt of a written request of any stockholder or member, the corporation shall furnish to him its most recent financial statement, which shall include a balance sheet as of the end of the last taxable year, and a profit or loss statement for said taxable year, showing in reasonable detail its assets and liabilities and the result of its operations.
Title 9, Merge and Consolidation. Section 76, Plan or Merge of Consolidation. Two or more corporations may merge into a single corporation, which shall be one of the constituent corporation, or may consolidate into a new single corporation, which shall be the consolidated corporation. Section 77, Stockholders or members approval. Upon approval by majority vote of each of the board of directors or trustees of the constituent corporation of the plan of merger or consolidation. Section 78, Articles of Merger or Consolidation. After the approval by the stockholders or member of required by proceeding section, articles of merger or articles of consolidation shall be executed by each of the constituent corporation. Section 79, Effectivity of Merge or Consolidation. The articles of merge or consolidation signed and certified as herein above required shall be submitted to the Securities and Exchange Commission and quadruplicate for its approval. Section 80, Effect of Merge of Consolidation. The merge of consolidation shall have the following effect. First, the constituent corporation shall become a single corporation, which in case of merge shall be the surviving corporation designated in the plan of merger. Second, the separate existence of the constituent corporation shall cease expected of the surviving or consolidated corporation. Third, surviving or the consolidated corporation shall possess all the rights and privileges, immunities, and power shall be subject to all the duties and liabilities of a corporation organized under this code. Title 10, Closed Corporation. Section 96, Definition and Applicability of Title. A closed corporation within the meaning of the code is one whose article of incorporation provided that first, all the corporation issued stock of all classes exclusive or treasury shares shall be held of record by more than a specific number of persons, not exceeding 20. Second, all the issued stock of the classes shall be subject to one or more specific restriction of transfer permitted by the title. And third, the corporation shall not list in any stock exchange or make any public offering of any of its stock of any class. Section 96. Example, Lego isn't a publicly traded corporation. It's not obligated to reveal its financial process on a quarterly basis to investor. Section 97, Article of Incorporation. The articles of incorporation of a closed corporation may provided first for a classification of shares and rights and the qualification of holding the same, and restriction on their transfer as may be stated therein, subject to the provision. Mr. C want to form a corporation in Delaware called the ABC Corporation. He must file this article of incorporation before he can open a bank account, solicit investor, issue stocks, or engage in other transaction. After filing or registering articles of incorporation with the Secretary of State office, he will receive an official certificate that indicate he is permitted to operate as operation within the state.
Section 98, Validity of restrictions on transfer of shares.
Restrictions on the right to transfer shares must appear in the articles of incorporation and in the bylaws as well as in the certificate of stock. Section 99. Effects of issuance or transfer of stock in breach of qualifying conditions. Number 1. If stock of a closed corporation is issued or transferred to any person who is not entitled under any provision of the Articles of Incorporation to be a holder of record of its stock. Number 2. If the Articles of Incorporation of a closed corporation states the number of persons not exceeding 20 who are entitled to be holders of record of its stock. Number 3. If a stock certificate of any closed corporation conspicuously shows a restriction and transfer of stock of the corporation. Section 97. Example. In the family corporation, it is often the desire of the father to pass the corporation to his son without interference from others outside the family. Any of these factors may induce the incorporators to attempt to restrict the transfer of the stock. Section 100. Agreements by stockholders. Number 1. Agreements by and among stockholders executed before the formation and organization of a closed corporation, signed by all stockholders. Number 2. An agreement between two or more stockholders, if in writing and signed by the parties thereto, may provide that in exercising any voting rights, the shares held by them shall be voted as therein provided or as they may agree or as determined in accordance with a procedure agreed upon by them. Section 101. When board meeting is unnecessary or improperly held, unless by the laws provide otherwise, any action by the directors of a closed corporation without a meeting shall nevertheless be deemed valid if: Number 1. Before or after such actions is taken, written consent thereto is signed by all the directors, or Number 2. All the stockholders have actual or implied knowledge of the action and make a prompt objection thereto in writing, or Number 3. The directors are accustomed to take informal actions with the express or implied acquiescence of all the stockholders, or Number 4. All the directors have expressed or implied knowledge of the action in question and none of them makes prompt objection thereto in writing. Section 102. Preemptive right in closed corporations. The preemptive right of stockholders in closed corporations shall extend to all stock to be issued, including reissuance of treasury shares, whether for money, property, or personal services, or in payment of corporate debts, unless the Articles of Incorporation provide otherwise. Section 103. Amendment of Articles of Incorporation. Any amendment to the Articles of Incorporation which seeks to delete or remove any provision required by this title to be contained in the Articles of Incorporation, or to reduce a quorum or voting requirement stated in said Articles of Incorporation shall not be valid or effective unless approved by the affirmative vote of at least 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock. Section 104. Deadlocks. Notwithstanding any contrary provision in the Articles of Incorporation or bylaws or agreement of stockholders of a closed corporation. Section 105. Withdrawal of stockholder or dissolution of corporation. In addition and without prejudice to other rights and remedies available to a stockholder under this title, any stockholder of a closed corporation may for any reason.
And that would be the end of our discussion. Once again, thank you for listening. God bless us all.